Hello everyone and welcome to round 14 of the AOR F1 2013 Season 7 Championship. It's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We're racing around the Yas Marina circuit today. I'm Matthew Gallagher, and with the fight for second place in the championship heating up, there's one man that's sitting next to me that is going to be enjoying it just as much as I am, and that is Fisi fan 91.
Yes, hello everybody. I will be here once again commentating with Matt in Scott's absence for what will hopefully be a very exciting race around this modern Yas Marina circuit. 21 corners on this demanding track, 28 laps will be awaiting the drivers, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
It should be great, especially when we'll see the sort of dusk by the end of the race as well, so the drivers will be burning off their headlights. But the Season 6 podium was xMattyG taking the victory from F1 X360 22 in second, who no longer races in the league, and Noble299 coming home in third position. Season 6 pole position went to Randy McScrandy with a 1:37.7. Let's see how the drivers did in the qualifying report.
So here we are for the qualifying comparison here at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. Fisi fan 91 and TRL Limitless on screen today as they head into turn 1 now, a 90-degree left-hander carrying good speed through the apex and now on the run to turns 2 and 3. Sweeping the car left and then right, easy flat, so just making sure to take the smoothest line possible before dropping down the hill as we head in towards sector 2. A first gear chicane, watching out for the back end breaking loose over the curbs as the drivers try and open up the hairpin now as much as possible, and as you can see from the pulls, it's Fisi taking a much better line, a later apex resulting in a better run down this first of 2 back straights of this circuit. About 75% curves being used, and then DRS2 as they keep to the middle of the track as the white line on the right will deviate towards them as they head into the braking zone. Just running into the limiter in 7th gear before going hard on the brakes for this tight left-right chicane that splits up these 2 back straights, back on the curves upon the exit, and DRS once more on the run towards the 3rd sector, keeping to the left to ensure they travel the least distance along this ever so slightly curved back straight, and then looking for the brake marker boards on the right before filtering the car through this tricky sequence of corners. A triple apex chicane, very easy to lose the back end over the curves, particularly in this final sector. Very much a risk and reward part of the track is this final sector, as the drivers need to ride the curbs to ensure that they get the most out of the lap times, but the curbs can be very unpredictable and ruin the lap with these two. But this pair seem to be going all out for the lap time, as they're now going underneath the hotel section of the circuit. Just a handful of corners remaining, going through this left-hander, watching the exit curb as they head towards the penultimate corner now, a 90-degree right-hander carrying great speed through there, and now another 90-degree right-hander, which is the final corner, and over the line it's Fisi coming out on top by just 0.03 of a second over Limitless, and they'll line up 8th and 9th for the race. Over to your main commentators now for the full qualifying classifications.
Thank you very much, Harry Jacks, for that qualifying comparison. Now let's have a look at the starting grid for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It will be a Ferrari on pole for this race, with TRL Rosberg knocking it up a time of 1:37.6 to take pole position, his second pole of the season, as much as 3.5 tenths ahead of the champion Noble299, who will start on the front row beside him. Just behind we got xMattyG in the second Williams and RickeeyC in the McLaren making up the second row of the grid. Then the second Ferrari of TRL Martin starting in 5th ahead of TRL Minty in the first Toro Rosso actually. Continence, the Italian driver in the Sauber, will start the race in 7th place ahead of the Norwegian Fisi fan 91 in the Red Bull, and then the qualifying surprise as TRL Limitless will only start the race in 9th place in his Toro Rosso, 0.03 of a second behind Fisi, and he will start alongside SE Racing Team in the Caterham. In 11th we got Randy McScrandy in the McLaren. He did set his time on the option tires, but will be starting the race on the medium tires because he qualified outside the top 10 and gets a free choice of tires. Jason, however, stays on the options and will start in 12th ahead of TraceMe92 in the second Red Bull, and then IPRX Callum in the Force India and Mazy CZ in the Sauber, rounding off the 15-man grid. We have no absentees today, which is nice to see. Every driver is present for this race, so I'm sure it'll be an exciting one. Let's head out to the track for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
It's race time. It's the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's xMattyG and Fisi fan 91 commentating for you today on another clear weather race. No rain to affect the drivers on this very modern, brilliant Abu Dhabi circuit. And Fisi, with Limitless down in 9th and Rosberg a brilliant pole, who's your money on?
Well, it's going to be an interesting race because, like you said, the grid is a bit messed up from what we're used to, especially with Limitless down in 9th. So, Noble in second, he'll probably be the favourite considering his record, but Everything could happen.
Anything can happen, and I'm sure it will. Down towards turn 1, a very short run. The lights are coming on now. We have 5 lights, and away we go for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Round 14, we're on board with RickeeyC in the McLaren, going down towards turn 1 from a brilliant 4th position in qualifying. He's looking up the inside slightly of xMattyG in the Williams, but looking to actually just come back into 4th. And now Limitless has lost a position at the start and is down to 10th with Randy taking that position from him. We're now on board with Fisi in the Red Bull, looking to the outside of Continents, going down towards the chicane. It's very, very tight indeed. Fisi's been slightly nudged by Randy and had to go straight on at the chicane, rejoining in 7th position. So I think he may well carry on there, as he was around that position going into the corner. So it looks like Noble has taken the lead from Rosberg. So Rosberg's had a very difficult start to the race and is down to 2nd, with xMattyG wanting to get past as soon as possible, I am sure. Noble going to defensive down towards turn 8. A very sharp hairpin. Very difficult for the drivers to brake with all of that fuel on board. And Matty looking to the outside now, and now getting a slight undercut on Rosberg, who's gone slightly wide, and Randy's got off the track. And here goes Matty. He's going around the outside of Rosberg. He's up into 2nd, and he's in the slipstream of his teammate, looking to the inside now to take the lead of this Grand Prix. Up the inside of Noble, which he does. Ricky almost hitting into the back of both the Williams. Get very, very brave on the brakes, but xMattyG takes the lead, Fizzy.
Yes, oh my god, what an incredible first half a lap so far with Ricky. I can't believe he pulled that move off. I was sure he was going to hit Noble in the back then, but he somehow slowed it down and got himself past Rosberg and up to 3rd. Actually, did he get past Noble as well? I can't quite remember. No, he didn't. So yeah, it's a Williams 1-2 at the moment then, and Martin is struggling. He's dropped behind Continents now and is in 7th place with Fisi following him through here. Ricky following the 2 Williams drivers in 3rd around the final corner as we complete the first lap, and Matty looking very strong so far in this race, as Randy, who had that incident at the first chicane, the chicane after the long straight, is now looking up the inside of Mazy for 12th place, trying to get back up the field again after that that incident he had. I'm sure we'll get a replay to see what happened to him. But he's not had a great race so far, as that is Noble is locked up and had gone straight across that chicane and slotted back into 2nd place. That was obviously just a mistake locking up, and he couldn't get the car turned in, so he'll carry on in 2nd. No big harm done for his race, as Ricky might be in the slipstream, but looked like Noble got a good exit of the hairpin. As we're now looking further down the grid, Limitless back where he started in 9th place. As Randy now looking to pick up another position, getting past Trace, going up the inside, coming towards the chicane. He's braking later than Trace as well, just about not hitting Jason in the back to make the move stick. And Mazy very close to Trace as well, so as we've used to see, it's a very close racing all the way down the field so far in this race.
Yeah, as you say, action all the way down the field, and Ricky looking very feisty indeed behind Noble and wanting to get involved with the fight for the victory. As we know, he has not taken a victory yet in the F1 League, and I'm sure he is going to try, and because it looks like he's got some brilliant pace, qualifying in 4th position. But I think the main loser at the moment is Rosberg, down in 4th position now. He started on pole, and Noble just completely out-tractioned him down towards turn 1, and he's just lost positions to both, to Ricky and to Matty and on the lap before. So down to 4th at the moment, and Fizi's hit the curb, been auto-spun out and gone from 8th down to 11th now, and it looks like his teammate, yes, Trace, has taken the position as well. So Fisi down to 12th after clipping his wheel on the curb. The curbs are extremely dangerous round here. You really don't want to be riding them, as Mazy goes straight onto the curb there, not listening to me whatsoever. But the curbs are extremely dangerous and can spit you into the wall at any moment in time. And we are now on board with Limitless, who's going over the curb as well, up into P8 from 9th on the grid. And here's a replay of xMattyG in the Williams, and you can see Noble just getting a brilliant start compared to Rosberg, and up the inside already before even the braking of turn 1, he was up into 1st, and Rosberg just had no reply whatsoever in that Ferrari. And here's on board with Randy McScrandy in 11th. Oh, so many cars taking different lines into turn 1, and he's gone around the outside. A great move there, taking 2 positions, taking the much more spacious line, whereas Limitless gets caught on the inside, can't get on the power. And then Randy, on the prime tyres, we have to point out as well, goes up a place and into 9th at that particular moment. And that is Callum losing the back end and unfortunately going down into last at that moment in time. And this is where Fisi gets slightly nudged possibly and goes straight over the chicane and into 7th. So, and then he loses a position to Continents at the hairpin. and is down to 8th, and then Randy then goes up the inside of him, and Fisi loses another position down to 9th. So and that's where Randy makes the contact with the Sauber and just gets spun around, which I'm sure was extremely frustrating after a decent start on the prime tyres as well. He was looking not bad in 8th position at that particular moment, but then down into what was, I think, 12th or 13th. And this is another replay of where xMattyG took the lead, Fisi.
Yeah, and what a move it was. Just getting, well, outpowering Rosberg on the exit and going straight on the attack at his teammate Noble up the inside. And Noble didn't defend it too hard, it's got to be said. Maybe he didn't mind his teammate going through there. Maybe he's thinking that he's got a championship in the bag. Maybe he's helping his teammate in the battle for second a little bit there. But Ricky as well, somehow slowing the car down to get past Rosberg off the third. And then we have the replay of Fisi. I was commentating as if it was live action there, but yeah, Fisi, well, getting his race compromised by that curb as well. So that's gone. Well, he was looking like a consistent race for Fisi up until that moment, but then obviously dropped out of the points positions at the moment, which is a shame for him. And now we got Ricky coming close to Noble at the end of the longest straight of the circuit, but can't get close enough to pass with DRS, which is activated now. But now it's got a great exit, and we'll have DRS again on this second straight. So I'm pretty sure it'll go past there, because the DRS is quite powerful around here. But Noble is holding the inside, and the side-by-side come towards the braking zone of this triple apex corner. But Ricky out-braking Noble and getting the move down up to second for Ricky, who, like you said earlier, is looking very strong on pace around here. And now he goes to chase after Matty for the lead. And you can see Noble already dropping it back a bit, dropping a bit of a gap to him. So Noble maybe not as confident around here as it's been, well, for most tracks this season. And I think there was an overtake ahead there as well. There was Commentated going back past Martin, who's now run wide. And he's, I don't know if he's struggling with tyres or whether he's quite early to be struggling with tyres, but he's certainly dropping back everywhere now. And he's even out of sight of Limitless when he was looking backwards. So you can see there he's in 8th place, I think, ahead of the Force India. So it's all kicking off in the midfield, Matt.
It is indeed. I think Martin's struggling slightly with his brakes. That's what I'm hearing at the moment, is that he's not being able to effectively brake for the corners, and therefore he's just going straight on because it's something to do with, I'm not sure, but yeah, his brake pedal isn't working, basically. As Ricky sets the fastest lap of a 42.4, he is flying, but he's hit that curb, as I mentioned earlier, and he's been spun out slightly, and that means Noble's now got another chance to get back past Ricky and back up into second. Obviously, that's not in the plan for the Williams boys to have a McLaren in the middle of them, but Noble's going to have a look possibly after the next hairpin and he's saving his curves. As you can see, he's using the DRS, and maybe he's going to go past already. Yes, he is. He's going to put it up into Rich, because here at Abu Dhabi there's a double DRS detection point, as Noble's gone very deep indeed round that corner, and Ricky's gone purely round the outside of him and back up into second. Who's going to get DRS? It may well be Noble, but it looks like he's lost quite a bit of a gap to Ricky after coming out of that corner. And now Randy and Limitless are going side by side. So Randy on the prime tyres is having a look at Limitless, and this is not going to plan for Limitless either, who just concedes the position without much of a fight at all. So maybe he's struggling on the tyres at the moment, cuts the last part of the triple chicane slightly there as well. But Limitless not looking particularly strong here, and he said before that this wasn't one of his favourite tracks, and he's certainly proving that at the moment, down in 8th position. But well, if Matty finishes first and Limitless down in 8th, as Continents goes into the wall from 6th position, that's absolutely heartbreaking for the Sauber driver, who was driving brilliantly and looking for a very solid position as Matty dives into the pits at the end of lap 4. Noble carries on, because obviously there is only one pit box for the Williams crew. But as I was saying, if Matty wins a Limitless, because I think there's a 28-point difference between Limitless and Matty for the second in the championship at the moment. I mean, that gap is going to come down huge amounts for the next and penultimate race of the season at the Circuit of Americas, as Matty gets slightly held up in the pits, but nothing too bad, and comes out of the pits in fresh air. By the looks of things, Ricky a few seconds back by the looks of things, and here we go. Yep, so no cars in front of him at the moment. Ricky coming out of the pits as well, looking very strong indeed, 5 laps into this race, and I'm sure he's going to be pushing on to try and get in the DRS zone of xMattyG. And Minty's actually not too far behind Ricky either, so it'll be interesting to see if these three bunch up, if they start fighting, with Noble going to be somewhere in there as well after his next pit stop. But there's some drivers that have decided to carry on, one of them being Fisi, looking like his tyres are getting towards towards the end of their lifespan, and Trace, who's his teammate, driving pretty well as well in front of Fisi, but obviously Fisi had that incident off that curb. But it looks like some drivers are trying to stretch the options, didn't Fisi?
Yeah, it certainly does. Obviously, you'd expect people to come in around lap 4 and 5, but it depends what strategy they want to go on, you got to say, because I'm pretty sure that most drivers... Oh, there's a bit of a half spin in the background, with Rosberg losing the back end and Randy now going up to a provisional second place. But like we're saying, I think that 3-stopper will be the usual strategy around here, because people will not gamble on their tires and just go for the safest option in terms of tire life. But some might try to push it to 2-stopper, and if they do, you might see drivers even going on to lap 6 maybe, well, at least try to push the tires onto a 2-stop strategy. But we'll see what these guys do now. Both the Red Bull drivers carrying on, it seems, as Rosberg and Noble both went into the pit lane. So, and already Fisi is struggling a bit out of the final corner, but he has to carry on another lap with that strategy choice, as Noble is in the pit lane, a standard 3.1 second stop for him, as Matty goes through on the main straight, catching up to Callum a bit. He's going to have to get past him quickly. Oh, and he does, makes very quick work of him on the out of turn 1, and he is ahead of Noble by quite a distance actually. He's made the undercut work nicely, and Noble is even behind TRL Minty, so he is at least no better than 4th. After all the pit stops pan out. The drivers have made the undercut work, as Fisi was having a bit of a moment out of the chicane. It looks like his tyres are falling off quite a bit. Matty now getting past another driver that hasn't pitted yet in Mazy, and now Ricky doing the same with Callum. So the guys on the fresher tyres now making the way through the slower guys who are yet to pit, as Limitless also struggling with tyres. You can see Limitless, obviously, we got to point that out, it chose to stay out as well. So all these 3 guys, Trace, Limitless and Fisi, are all on very worn options at this point, and I'm not sure it's working out, because you can see on the minimap Matty is not far behind and he's already pitted as Fisi goes up the inside of Limitless. There's a bit of contact. Oh my god, Limitless puts his hand up as Fisi just loses the car completely and goes off into the wall, it seems, and there's just chaos everywhere with Matty and Ricky making their way through, and oh, Fisi is sliding all over the place, driving a rally car, Matt, and I can't even breathe anymore. What is going on?
It looks like wacky races, to be honest. They can't control the cars at all. Fisi and Limitless is just completely... You can see there's contact between the 2 Toro Rossos in front. Look at how much Limitless is struggling. There's cars everywhere. There's people that haven't pitted yet, and it just has not worked out. Limitless is down to 11th, and he hasn't made his pit stop yet. This has gone severely wrong for the people that have stayed out. Fisi fan just about managing to stay in 9th position and getting into the pits. Can he even turn right? No, he spins into the pits. That is just, oh my lord, the strategy call by these guys have been absolutely terrible. Clearly, they just did not know what to get, or maybe they just wanted to risk it and try and make a 2-stop work, but it has not worked out whatsoever. Limitless down into 12th or 13th position at the moment. Matty in a net 1st position. This could blow 2nd place in the championship wide open. He even gets held up in the pits. I'm coughing because I cannot even believe what's going on here. Limitless is in last place, just behind Fisi, who's going very slowly out of the pits and then sticking Limitless slightly in the wall there. That is very... I'm guessing Fisi had some sort of connection or possibly wheel issues there, but Limitless getting pushed into the wall. So his race has gone from bad to absolutely catastrophic. And here we go. This is Ricky looking to the outside of Trace and going past him and up into 3rd. Trace is still out on the option tyres, may I add. So he's lap 7, and it looks like he's actually making it work somehow. So he's got some sort of protective... Oh my gosh, now Randy's hit the curb and is off the track. He's made a huge error there. But as I was saying, as Matty's now made a mistake as well, and is Ricky going to get a run on Matty? It looks like he is, but it's not an overtaking place whatsoever. I'm trying to say about 6 different points at once at the moment, Fisi, purely because there's so many things going on. But what we can sort of take from what's happened in the last few laps is that Ricky and Matty are out in front with Noble. I'm just behind Minty, is that, or is he ahead now?
I'm pretty sure he might have passed Mint actually. I'm not quite sure. We might get a replay on that actually if he has. But well, what we also can conclude is that Limitless and Fisi have had their races completely ruined by making the wrong strategy call, which just didn't work out. I'm pretty sure they tried to push their tires maybe with a 2-stop strategy in mind, but it's just backfired completely, and they're now pretty much out of the race. Well, I'm pretty sure they can salvage a few points from the race, but certainly not any kind of top positions, as Randy has made his pit stop, obviously late one, because he started the race on primed. And now we have RickeeyC on the back of Matty. Minty has not been passed by Noble yet because he's still in third. You can see there in the top left as Contrubuted says the fastest lap, so he's flying somewhere down the field. And Ricky not getting close enough to Matty to overtake him on this occasion for the lead. So this looks like this could be a very nice battle for the lead, you gotta say, because these guys have really surprised me with the pace they've shown so far in this race, Matty and Ricky, and they have quite a bit of a gap down to Minty and Noble, who are battling for third. So you can see here, Matty going a little bit defensive, but Ricky finds the gap on the inside. Let's see if he can slow it down for the apex. Ricky makes the move and goes into the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix as Matty is struggling to keep control of the car a bit on the curb there. And now Noble has made his way past Minty as well, out of the screen, as Randy also makes a pass on Jason for a 7th place in the race on his fresher tyres, with Rosberg not too far ahead. So positions changing in the top 7 spots, Emma. And now here are some replays.
Yeah, here's a replay of Limitless just losing time hand over fist on lap 6, staying out on the options. Then you got Trace Me 92 ahead of them that stayed out for another lap, and it's like, boys, I know how to look after my tyres. Fisty's just going straight off to the right there as well. It's just comical how badly these drivers were struggling with their tyres. He just turns right and, oh, bye, see you later, Fizzy. But yeah, that's obviously not great to see, because obviously those drivers' races are very much, well, ruined, you'd have to say. But I mean, look at the amount of time. They just could not get any traction whatsoever, and neither could Limitless, and he was literally just a traffic jam, and he was the one causing it pretty much, and just sliding around every corner. I bet he was thinking, what do I have to do to try and get around these corners? Because I'm pretty sure it was just like driving on ice. You can see, look, it's just like drifting Gymkhana style into the pits. And Limitless doing exactly the same and just managing to get in front of Fizzy into the pits. But then Fizzy then got back past him after changing his tyres. And then for some reason, maybe you'll be able to shed a bit of light on that, Fizzy. There we go. Just nothing really actually happened on his screen by the looks of things. But here's a replay of Noble getting past Minty and up into third. But Matty and Ricky 4 seconds ahead now out in front. So this really is a battle. And Ricky is leading the Grand Prix, just like we saw last season at India. And unfortunately for him, he disconnected and had a few lag issues, which did help him along the way to put the drivers kind of, well, let's just say disadvantaged them behind him, but obviously not his fault at all. But he is out in front purely on merit at the moment, and he's got Matty that I'm sure will not want to give up this race victory, as they do not usually get that much of an opportunity to take the victory with Noble, the likes of Noble, and also Limitless sniffing around for victories as well. But Matty just about in the DRS zone at the moment, just under a second. So hopefully he'll be able to stay within that, so we can see a bit more battling between the two. But it got very close into the triple chicane last lap. Will it get close again? Let's have a look. We're going down towards turns 5 and 6, and we're going through 6 now. And Ricky getting slightly pear-shaped on that corner, but Randy's sitting the fastest lap of a 41.1, so he's driving very fast indeed after making those mistakes earlier on in the race. And Matty using, what is he using, 3/4 of his curves, saving a little bit for maybe the exit of the hairpin, or the exit of the chicane even. And Ricky, and well, Ricky's not gone defensive. Matty's slightly looking up the inside, but deciding against it, because obviously there is another DRS detection zone. Just to get a good run out of this corner is crucial if you want to be making the move stick. And here we go, he's using all of his curves now, and he's going to have DRS. Is he going to make a move down towards the triple chicane and get his own back for the lap before? Here we go to the inside. Is Matty going to go up the inside? He's broken slightly earlier than Ricky, and they're almost touching the slight contact between Matty's right front and Ricky's rear left, but they've got away with it just about. But whilst these guys are battling and just kind of doing half-assed attempts at overtaking, Noble is closing in on those slightly fresher tyres and pitting a lap later.
Yeah, it certainly is, as Fisi is having a bit of a oversteer moment on that curb, and it's not really going to matter too much because he is in 14th place at the moment. And now we got a replay here of Randy at the back of TRL Martin for 6th place, and he makes that move stick in the second DRS straight. Quite easily there, quite a standard DRS pass. As we go back to the fight between Matty and Ricky for the lead, I didn't quite catch the gap down to Noble there, but he's certainly catching it. We're going to see it now. Oh, he's only 7/10. He's within the DRS gap as well, you see? So he's going to be a 3-way horse to bring that race back in for the lead here for the time being. So Noble's been driving really impressively after getting past Minty, as we lost connection to Callum there. I swear it's been a while since he finished the race, but now we got Matty for the lead, going up the inside on the long straight and making the move stick. It looks like he slowed it down for the apex, but Rickey's getting a better line through the chicane. A little bit of overstep, but he can get back. Well, he's certainly going to have an attempt to get back past with the second DRS, and he's done so. Matty taking a defensive line to try and hold on to the lead, but Rickey, with that speed advantage with the DRS, has got himself through with a bit of a slide through the triple apex corners. They're getting very close again, a slight nudge, but no harm done until Rickey drives himself off the road with Noble now just behind them. So Rickey making a little bit of a mistake there to drop back down to second place. So Matty is still in the lead for the time being as the Saubers are battling. Well, I think Mazy actually let Continence through there because I think Continence is looking like the quicker driver at the moment. And let's see. Yeah, there's quite a gap, you got to say. It's starting to settle down a bit. It's a three-way battle now for the lead. And there's, you can see on the minimap, there's just 3 cars quite close in the battle for... actually, no, one of them went into the pit lane looking at the minimap, so I'm not quite sure what went down there. But I think Rosberg and Minty are quite close in the battle for 4th, back there somewhere. As now, is that Mazy with Limitless all over the back of him. But we're going to cut back to the more important battle for the win, as the Rickey has lost the back end a little bit, going hard onto that curb. And now Macy's going to be under pressure from Limitless, who is trying to desperately to get himself back into the points, to limit the points lost to Matty, who is now battling for the lead, whereas Limitless, his rival for the second place in the championship, is only just made himself, made his way into 10th place. So, yeah, they are certainly having different fortunes in this race, Matt and Limitless.
Yeah, definitely, and Matty's going to want to capitalise on that by taking home the victory. There's 16 laps to go, so there's a long way to go yet. Rickey going down into leans, so he's decided he wants to save a little bit of fuel at this part in the race, and this is really where he wants to be, is in second, so that he's got the DRS to defend from Noble, but he is well and truly in for the fight for the lead still, as Matty is only just there, so he's in touching distance, and Rickey, he's not fought for the lead that many times. Obviously, India was one of the examples that I used earlier, but I'm sure he'll be feeling a little bit nervous with the fact that he's racing with Matty and Noble, who is now a 5-time AOR F1 champion, so, he's no slouch. As Rosberg loses the back end and gifts Randy 4th position. Rosberg is having a torrid time this afternoon and is not having a good race at all. Rickey now dives into the pits. Does that mean Matty's in the pits as well? It must be, because there's no car ahead of Noble, and it is indeed. So Noble takes the lead, and Matty and Rickey will get a huge undercut once again. That's one of the things we have sort of seen so far in this race after the first 13 laps, is that the undercut is huge round here, but it also means that the drivers that stay out a little bit longer, even if it's just a lap, also have an advantage towards the end of their stint, because their tyres are a little bit better, fresher, and that means they can just start grinding away at that gap. And as you can see, Noble caught up to these two by the end of the stint. So Rickey is now, he may well be in DRS, but then again, it looked maybe just over a second. We will see, as Fisi is coming through turn 1 now, and right behind Mazy, who gets very hard on the curbs there, almost losing the back end by the looks of things. Mazy is in the final points paying position at the moment. Limitless up into 8th, but I'm sure he will have to pit again, as he hasn't pitted since his traumas on lap 6. But he's got Rosberg just ahead of him and Martin just behind, the 3 TRL boys. But Limitless isn't going to get any DRS at the moment, and Martin looks very close indeed, and he may well have a go down towards turn 8. We will see. But Fisi is now going to try and get past Mazy as well. These guys slightly out of position, obviously because of Fisi having the incidents with his tyres and also having a little spin as well. But Randy also having a huge incident at the start of the race. And as you were saying, I think Continence, as you can see, has absolutely flown away from Mazy. Continence was up in 6th place at the start of this race before spinning off the curb and going into the wall. And unfortunately, having to reverse out of that was more tricky, as there was drivers going straight through, and he really just couldn't rejoin the track, as Mazy is fighting very hard with Fisi for this 10th position. He's not giving away this position as easy as he did to his teammate Continence, and he's going to have to work for his Fisi to get into 10th position, as Noble dives into the pits for a fresh set of primes, and he is going to, I'm not sure where he's going to come out, because it's going to be interesting to see if the drivers behind went for the undercut. And he's hit his stops now, and he's going to put on a fresh set of primes. A 3-stop looks to be on the cards for Noble. 3 prime stints, an option stint obviously at the start, as that's what he qualified on. and he's coming out the pits. Well, he's just about to come out the pits now. Limitless dives into the pits, and he's going to go into the wall. He's lost his wing. This is, oh my gosh, Limitless into the wall. He's lost his wing. Well, fortunately for him, he's got the pits right in front of him, but wow, it's just a torrid time. I'm sure he would probably want to retire, does Limitless, but he's decided to carry on and get a front wing replacement. It's just not working out at all for him. He must think, really, is his second place in the championship, which looked pretty certain for him at the start of this race, 28 points ahead of xMattyG. It looks like it's being thrown wide open now for the last 2 races of the season, which will be interesting, I suppose, as Fisi is going around the outside now of Mazy, around the hairpin of turn 7. What a brilliant move there, and Mazy just has no traction out of that corner, weaving left to right, trying to find those tyres to hit the flipping racetrack and get some sort of purchase, but he's had to give up 9th position to Fisi, who looks like he may well be able to go a lap or 2 further, maybe not, as he slides into the hairpin of turn 8, but we haven't seen up front for a little while, Fisi, but I'm sure it's still action-packed.
Yeah, we haven't seen up front because all the action at the moment is down in the midfield, as we see a replay of Martin going past Limitless, and then Limitless, his race going from bad to worse when he hits the pit wall. He just turned in a bit too late, I think, or with a bit too much speed, and obviously he got that changed right away, but it lost him some time certainly. And now Fisi has gone into the pit lane. I'm pretty sure him and Limitless both have now changed onto a 3-stop strategy rather than a 2-stop, because their previous trial troubles, they're not taking any more risks with that, as it's a good stop from the Red Bull guys, and Mazy also in the pits and slots in behind Fisi, so they're now on equal ground, I guess, in terms of tires, and can push on to maybe score a point, both outside the points at the moment, so which it would be, they'll both probably be quite disappointed with how this race has gone, as Limitless is also just ahead, so despite losing his wing, Limitless, so I mean, at least he's still scoring a point at the moment. No, actually he's not, he's in 11th, so yeah, he's very bad races for all these guys. We didn't quite see earlier where Noble slotted in the lead. We can see here, as we just changed back to Matty in the lead, it's a 1.2 second gap now, down to Rick in second, and then it's 9 further tenths from Ricky down to Noble. So it's spread out a little bit compared to what we had before, when they were just pretty much inside each other, driving around this final sector. But so the race is kind of settling down a bit, gotta say, and Matty is now looking, the strongest man for this win, and what a win it would be to throw, like you said, the battle for second place in the championship wide open. Limitless, obviously, we had a 28 point gap, so he will be still ahead regardless of where he finishes. Well, given that Matty wins, of course. Well, actually, regardless of where he finishes, he will be ahead going into the final 2 races, but the gap will have closed too much for his liking, I'm sure, and what looked like a comfortable second place in the championship is now completely wide open, like you said. So yeah, just looking at the minimap, there's a couple of cars you can see there at the end of the second straight who are quite close together, but I'm not sure we have any footage from that at the moment, so we're gonna have to settle for a battle between the Red Bulls as Fisi goes past his teammate Trace.
Yep, looks like it's pretty easy move for Fisi, as Trace does not put up a fight whatsoever, and obviously with DRS as well, just makes it even easier for Fisi to go up into 11th place. He's lost touch with Limitless, but that's to be expected because, well, when Limitless isn't making mistakes, he's usually pretty quick, and he's in 1 point paying position at the moment, so he's going to lose 24 points at this rate if xMattyG can continue this pace to pull away from Ricky and Noble. What's the gap now? It is 1.9 seconds now, so looking even more comfortable for xMattyG at the moment, as who's that coming out the pits? That is TRL Martin, just ahead of Limitless, so Martin's having an absolutely terrible race as well, and as you can see, yeah, his brakes just aren't working at all. He's gone straight across and just cannot slow the car down by the looks of things. He doesn't make it too well, I say he doesn't make it too hard. Limitless has just ridden the curbs like some sort of rodeo, but he's up into 9th position, and he's going to put it under Rich just to make sure he can clear Martin, because he's not going to have DRS, but I'm sure Martin is not going to be particularly confident going into the breaking point of this next one if his brakes aren't working particularly well. We shall see. Well, we won't from his point of view because he doesn't have a capture card, but we may well see from someone else's point of view if he's off the track a little bit later in the race. But we are now on board with Ricky, 2.2 seconds away from the lead now, so it looks like The win is slightly coming out of Rickey's grasps at the moment, but anything can happen, as you know. And Rickey usually saves a lot of fuel for the end of the race. So, oh well, I say saves a lot of fuel. He's putting it into lean, which can only suggest that he is struggling for fuel at the moment as he slides slightly through that right-hander. And I think he's probably more looking in his mirrors to Noble than looking ahead at the moment, because Noble is within the DRS zone. And here we go, there's Martin. He's going to try and get back past Limitless. So although they have similar names, they're not going to be giving away each other's positions too easily, as Matty and Rickey both come into the pits. Martin goes straight on once again, and it's just not going well at all for him. Limitless back up into 9th position, so Martin up into 9th for a very short time, but had to then concede the position. Matty getting a 3.1 second pit stop, so no problems for him this afternoon. At the moment, SE Racing Team retires from the race. I'm hearing he's had some massive issues as well, and apparently the team told him to retire because he was just driving too slowly. But anyway, Rickey's coming out of the pits, and you can't see the Williams at the moment, so it looks like the battle for the lead has, as you say, calmed down quite a lot, Fizzy, and Rickey will maybe be able to reel in that gap if he's a little bit faster on these fresher tyres compared to Matty. We shall see. TRL Minty 4.1 seconds behind Rickey in the McLaren, so Minty not looking like too much of a threat at the moment, but Noble has carried on for another lap, which means Minty on the fresher tyres may well get near to Noble, because it is at least a couple of seconds you can make up on these fresher tyres, and if you put in a Sterling lap, then you never know how much you're going to gain, as Martin is well, he's right behind, that's Limitless again, so Limitless is not driving at all well at the moment. Martin basically pushing him around that part of the track, and is going back past Limitless. So despite Martin's troubles, he has got back past Limitless, who is in 8th, and Fisi is now going to try and get in on the action as well, with 7 laps to go. We're braking now down towards turn 8. And does Martin stop? Oh, just about. And there he's taken a very, well, not a particularly optimal line through that corner, and Limitless may well get another run. And Fizzy's got caught on the curbs, which means Trace, his teammate, is now looking to the outside and steams past with, I'm assuming, some extra Kurz battery. And Limitless all making contact with the Ferrari's rear end, but nothing too dangerous, as Fizzy goes to the outside and just caught a bit of rubber and maybe a little bit of curb as well, and has gone straight on and has to give up and stay in 10th position for now. Noble comes into the pits. Where is he going to feed out? That's going to be interesting for the fight for the win. But, Matty's already going through turn 1, so it looks like Noble's going to come out in at least 3rd position, possibly even worse. Well, sorry, not at least. He may well come out in 3rd and possibly even worse, depending on where Minty is. But it doesn't look like Minty's going to get back past, despite setting the fastest lap of a 39.6, which is very close indeed. So he may well get a chance with the DRS, as Limitless comes into the pits of his final pit stop. It has not worked. He's usually the guy that likes to keep on fresher tyres. He is this afternoon, but he is out of the running for any sort of decent points haul.
Yes, he's indeed, and just to point out that Noble came out in 4th actually, but I'm pretty sure that Randy has yet to pit, because he started on the primes and is on a slightly alternate strategy, I'm pretty sure, so he might go on the options at the end or something. But a few people in the pits here. Limitless again dropping out of the points, but pitting again quite early, I say, but Fisi still stayed out anyway. And now Matty hunting down Randy for the lead of the race. Obviously Randy's yet to pit, so this is still looking very, very good for an xMattyG win around Abu Dhabi. And just remind me, Matty, what was it? Was it the same guy who won last season as well?
It was indeed.
It was indeed, yeah. And that was after the guy ahead now, Randy, had actually finished the race in 1st place, but then he had a penalty given to him by the game that couldn't be removed, and therefore he dropped out of that position, and the win was inherited by xMattyG. So it could be a 2nd consecutive win for Matty as he goes back into the lead due to Randy now pitting for the final time in this race. And he also sets a final lap as well, well, not final lap, that's not up yet, but a fastest lap, but then it's snatched away straight away by Rosberg, despite Matty setting the fast lap. But he's certainly flying, is Matty, and it's not looking like at the moment that Rickey or Noble, for that matter, can catch him. So, and you got to point out the amazing sunset we got around here at the moment. It's looking quite beautiful indeed, and very orange. But as Fisi now goes into the pit where Trace carrying on. He's been very good on his tyres this race, has Trace. But Fisi not particularly fan of the tyres at the moment. But he goes on the options though, for a 6-lap stint at the end. I'm not sure if that is going to be very smart considering what happened last time he was on a 6-lap stint on the options, but We'll see how that works out for him. At least he won't have done a qualifying lap on these this set. So, but he has dropped a bit of time through the pit stops through Limitless to Limitless, who's now got quite a gap up to 11th place. But they're both out of the points, like we pointed out. So, disappointed race, and now we're back with Matty in the lead.
Yep, so he's just about to finish lap 23 and looking pretty unfazed at the moment, with Noble still not having got past Ricky for a second position and a Williams 1-2, which I'm sure would be lovely for those two. The gap is 3 seconds, so it's looking pretty healthy, with Noble 3.5 seconds behind Ricky. But as I said before, the undercut is huge and Noble had to stay out an extra lap. So towards the end of the race, he may well be able to get an opportunity on Ricky, because he will be faster. And, well, someone who's going to be fast right now is Fisi, who is on the option tyres. But as you can see already, with another 3 laps to go, you can see that his tyres are starting to... Well, it doesn't look like he's actually learnt his lesson from the beginning. But we shall see on lap 28 how much he's going to be sliding about. Whether he's going to be looking like he's dancing on ice, we will see. But... maybe with the fuel that's gone down quite a lot this race, and it's looking like the cars, well, will be in a lot more sort of optimum mode in terms of the fact that, you know, they're not... Oh, who's that? I'm going to stop my point as Randy's having a humongous lag spike. That is just... Oh, that's so disappointing. He's already had a few incidents and he's now had a huge lag spike, which has affected his race even more. He's on the option tyres, so he was pushing to try and get on the back of TRL Rosberg, but now he's just absolutely... Well, he won't be able to catch them, I'm sure, with only a few laps to go. Who is catching someone is Noble. As I said, he's catching Ricky on those fresher tyres, and he may well be able to steal a Williams 1-2 by the end of this race. He sets a 1:40.1 for this lap, and that's pretty good considering he's had those tyres on for quite a while. Down into second gear, going through turn 1. He's now going to he's going to be in the slipstream, but he's also in the dirty air of RickeeyC, and we're now coming through turns 3 and 4. And Noble is going to have DRS, but as we've seen from the drivers earlier on, they're probably going to save it to the next DRS detection zone, otherwise their opponent will have that. And Ricky has a slight bit of lag there, and Noble hits Ricky. This is going to be interesting. I think Noble will, yes, and he does. Moves to one side and lets Ricky back through, which is very sportsmanlike, because Noble didn't really have any play in that. It was just the fact that Ricky's car just lagged straight into the Noble hit Ricky's lagging car, but he really couldn't have gone anywhere else. But Noble letting Ricky back through, which is great to see. And he's still got another lap as Noble now suffers a slight lag spike, which I'm sure he's going to be ruining, letting Ricky back through, as if he probably would have been able to let him back through just through the lag spike. But he's now lost a bit of time to Ricky, as Limitless is all over Jason for the final points paying position. This is going to be possibly crucial, as I'm sure Limitless is going to want, well, at least 1 point from this race, as Matty looks like he's going to pick up 25. And, every point may well count towards the last 2 races. Limitless saying America is one of his best tracks. We shall find out next week. But for now, Noble is still trying to catch Ricky, and Limitless now going past Jason and up into the points, Fizzy.
Yeah, and he is it's damage limitations for him, obviously. Getting at least 1 point on the board to limit the gap lost to Matty, who is now on course to win the race, of course, as Matty has now started the final lap, and he can't throw this away now, surely, with 5.4 seconds worth of a gap down to Ricky and Noble battling it out for second, and they will surely hold each other off even further, battling out for this position as well. And you got to just point out as well that Minty and Rosberg are not too far behind. I'm pretty sure that is Rosberg fighting with Minty for 4th, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But Noble now lining up RickeeyC for the 2nd place. So Ricky went a little bit wide through the hairpin, but then Noble had a bit of a slide. So let's see if Noble can get close to him with DRS for the final time on this straight for the race. He is in the slipstream as well. Ricky looks like he's pulling towards the inside, but Noble there, he leaves the gap for Noble because he just realizes that the speed advantage will be massive for Noble, and Ricky is going for the better exit out of the chicane now, I'm pretty sure. But Noble gets a brilliant exit with traction there. So despite Ricky getting the DRS there, I'm not sure he's going to be close enough. He puts it up the rich mix, but Noble defends the inside line, and Ricky not close now. He's going to try to go around the outside into the triple chicane corner, but Noble is still staying in 2nd place, and this last sector, Matt, is not a sector where you usually make overtakes.
No, and Noble's got the fresher tyres as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if Noble just steams away from Ricky in this last sector. And here we go, there's Matty, his teammate, who has driven pretty well, you have to say, considering the pressure of having to get a brilliant result here at Abu Dhabi, helping obviously by Limitless having a terrible result. But it looks like he is going to come around the final corner to take the victory here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. A great drive from him. Noble coming home in second place, so a Williams 1-2 with Ricky coming, a brilliant drive from Ricky, you have to say. He had some brilliant pace here this afternoon and also in qualifying. Randy coming home in 6th. What could have been for him after all those mistakes and also a massive lag spike. And Fisi is still fighting for possibly, well, he's not going to get a point because he's in 12th. And look, you have to say, options probably wasn't the best idea. He set a 1:39.8, so unfortunately he hasn't even set the fastest lap on those faster tyres. But yeah, it really was sort of a no-brainer really after the first stint to go on the prime tyres. But Fisi had to give it a go because he was so far down the field. Wanted to give it a risk, and he's now behind Jason coming around the final corner. Can he take 11th place? Just to say thank you very much, Jason. No, he cannot. So there we go. Fisi coming over and in 12th place. So disappointing for him. And this is the replay where Noble slightly makes contact with Ricky and then lets him back through. Very sportsmanlike by the champion, and well, Ricky could not, unfortunately for him, could not hold on to second place for one more lap just due to the tyres. And there's the replay for Ricky lagging slightly and off the track. I don't think he was even really expecting Noble to let him back past, but he fought very hard, did Ricky, but unfortunately just didn't have the tyres to get the better exit, which he did go for, which was exactly what I think a lot of drivers would have done. The correct decision, but you can just see just here, he tries to get on the power and just has to let off the throttle slightly because he cannot do it. And here's TRL Limitless coming home in 10th position, doing a bit of a donut over there as well. But yeah, xMattyG taking the victory, 1:39.3, his fastest lap, takes the victory in 48 minutes and 29 seconds. And that has thrown second place in the championship wide open. And here is the results of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. xMattyG taking the victory by 6.2 seconds from his teammate Noble 2909. A Williams 1-2 with RickeeyC joining them on the podium in the McLaren, 7.1 seconds back. Minty only 6/10 away from a podium in the first Toro Rosso, with Randy McScrandy being promoted to 5th after Rosberg's penalty, putting him down to 6th place. Trace92 finishing in his usual 7th place, with the Contadins, what could have been for him as well after spinning into the wall, finishing in 8th, with TRL Martin finishing in 9th after having a penalty as well, with Limitless only scoring 1 point here this afternoon. Jason 97 F1, Fizzy Fan 91 and Mazy CZ, the people that didn't finish, or that did finish but did not score any points here this afternoon. SE Racing Team was one of the people to retire after being told by his team, and iProX Callum being disqualified and not finishing another race, and I'm pretty sure he has not finished a race since God knows when. But anyway, Rosberg took the fastest lap of a 39.2, and I have to say, Abu Dhabi's not usually, well, for real life anyway, one of the most exciting of tracks, Fizzy, but I mean, it promoted some great racing here this afternoon.
It did indeed. Well, you got to say the racing settled down a bit in the second half of the race, but certainly in the first part of the race, it was just frantic action everywhere and lots of overtaking, and it was a great ride.
Yeah, so here we go, the Drivers' Championship. Noble 29 obviously taking, well, he took the championship last time out, and he's just steaming away even more from Limitless, but Matty has closed the gap and is now 4 points behind, and it is going to be very interesting to see how those two drivers battle it out in the last two races of the season. Minty going past Martin for 7th place, and Rosberg putting himself up into 10th, with Jason and Callum, the guys in the relegation zone, and looking like they are the ones to be relegated for next season unless they can get a brilliant result, which they unfortunately haven't got so far this season. Callum would probably have to finish a race to get a good result, but for him, he's down in 15th place at the moment. But Ricky looking like, well, he's got 10 points to his teammate Randy McScrandy, and I'm sure they will have a great fight for the last two positions, as they're always very close on the track. Not here this afternoon. Ricky had a great drive, and Randy having too many mistakes. And the Constructors' Championship, no changes in positions, but Toro Rosso and McLaren, there's still a fight for second place in the Constructors as well, if McLaren can get a brilliant result in America and Brazil. But Ferrari and Red Bull also very close, but down at the bottom there, Force India, still not a great season for them at all. But Fizzy, you know, it's going to be interesting the next two races. America, the next one, and I'm sure with that humongous straight in the DRS zone, there's going to be some huge dive bombs.
Yeah, last season, obviously, the race in the United States was a bit of a classic, especially towards the end, with several drivers battling it out at the front. But, the champion of the season might be crowned already, but we still got battles going on for second, fourth, and also in the midfield. So, lots to play for, and I'm sure in America we'll see some more close and competitive racing.
Well, if you want to see some more great racing, then tune in next week for the United States Grand Prix, where the drivers will battle it out around a brilliant circuit. I hope you guys will join us then. I've been Matthew Gallagher, and thank you very much, Fisi, for commentating with me today.
Yes, no worries. It's been a pleasure, and thanks to you as well.
And we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.